woke up and said, Auburn's going to the Final Four.
And it's over! Anything can happen in March!
We marketed unfinished business. This is a championship club that made history.
History may be the word down on the plains, but the final chapter yet to be written for Auburn. A shot at the national championship on the line in Minneapolis. First, the SEC tournament. Now the Final Four, a moment in college basketball lore hanging in the balance.
This is Auburn's Road to the Final Four preview.
The trophy case for 2019 getting pretty loaded. First, the SEC in Nashville, and then the Midwest region in Kansas City, and now Auburn. We talk about history. How about the first ever national championship in program history? That could come Monday night, but 2 games and 3 teams stand in their way. We are your official home for the Final Four, and we have team coverage across the country to get you ready for it. Jerry Jackson and Conan Gasquet down in Auburn, where they're just itching to get their hands on the Toomer's Corner toilet paper again. Chris Frinkle and Simone Eli are up in Minneapolis with the team, talking with Bruce Pearl and the players today. Welcome into our show across the entire state of Alabama. I'm Chris Brees, the Auburn Road to the Final Four. We talk about history. Best season ever? Not over yet. And you better believe Auburn's got a chance to win this thing on Monday. They came out of the Midwest region as the 5 seed, and tomorrow night, 5 o'clock, they'll play the 1 seed from the South, Virginia. The Cavaliers making their 3rd Final Four, but first since 1984. From the East region is Michigan State. The Spartans with Tom Izzo going on his 8th Final Four after knocking off the top seed Duke over the weekend. He's the only coach of these 4 who have been here before. The Spartans will battle Texas Tech in the 2nd game tomorrow night. Chris Beard's Red Raiders defense is considered the best in college basketball. 4 very different teams and 4 very different paths to get here.
We are very excited about being at the Final Four. Very excited to represent Auburn. We got great respect for the teams that are here.
I think that's why we're in this spot, because our guys, they have improved collectively and individually, and then obviously they responded to what happened last year.
We're in our 3rd year of building our program at Tech, and we're striving to be in the same conversation of the Michigan States of the world. So, simply stated, we feel like we'll have to play our best game of the year to have some success on Saturday night.
We feel fortunate to be here, and yet we think we've earned our way to be here. And Texas Tech is we kind of clone each other in some ways, and yet I think Chris has done a great job with his team.
Go behind the back, finds Hero, corner pop, he's got it!
Okay, doesn't it feel like this was just forever ago? Auburn's last loss, February 23rd in Lexington. They got drubbed 80-53 by Kentucky. But since that game, everything has changed for Bruce Pearl's Tigers. It was the beginning of the greatest run in college basketball this season so far. Chris Frinkle kicks off our team coverage live on the court in Minneapolis. First the SEC, then the Midwest region. Chris, who would have thunk it? Auburn here tonight. They're ready to play.
Well, Chris, we've had many conversations this season just about that Auburn is talented enough to make it to the Final Four and win the national championship, but they couldn't quite put it together. But then that loss to Kentucky, and it really galvanized this team together, and they went on a 12-game winning streak, and here they are in the Twin Cities. A celebration decades in the making, a moment etched in Auburn lore.
I promised them that we could be competitive. I don't know that I had a Final Four in mind.
The pinnacle moment in a month which college basketball legacies are defined. 12 straight wins, perfect in the month of March. An improbable run that began with perhaps the worst loss of the season, sparked 4 straight wins to end the regular season.
I think we're just trying to play our best basketball, just coming on the road in a tough environment.
4 games in Nashville, ending in a blowout win over Tennessee and a tournament title for the first time since 1986. To reward their efforts, a tournament region that included some of the premier programs in the sport left Auburn with a treacherous road to make just the Sweet 16 for the first time since 2003.
I say one at a time. You can't look at the future, you look at the present, and just focus on one game at a time.
Day by day, round by round, teams saw their season end. Auburn survived a last-second scare against New Mexico State, then wins against Kansas, North Carolina, and finally revenge against Kentucky to become just the second team in tournament history to beat the 3 historic programs in the same tournament.
The first time in Auburn history in the Final Four, so a lot of emotions right now.
A run that started with the bitter taste of defeat ends with revenge, a historic celebration, and a trip to the Twin Cities with a chance to play for a national championship. And we've been along for the ride. I was in Nashville. You went to Kansas City.
Yep.
I mean, what more can you say? I think time and time again, we've doubted and wondered, all right, when is it going to end?
Yes.
And it just hasn't ended. Here we are.
There's no doubt, because I talked to Bruce Pearl after that win in Kansas City, and even he said he did not expect to see a Final Four in their future. That's exactly what Auburn is facing right now, their first ever. And for those of you who are saying that Auburn won't get the same looks as they did versus Virginia all tournament, well, don't overlook how Auburn played in their win against Kentucky. It's very telling. Unlike the blowout against North Carolina, the Wildcats forced Auburn off the 3-point line. The Tigers were forced to play more in the half court, and they did it really well.
We weren't able to get a lot of points in transition against Kentucky, and we didn't shoot or make as many threes as we normally do against Kentucky. But I felt like we found other ways to score, whether it was getting to our mid-range pull-ups or getting all the way to the basket. And I felt like we played a lot more together.
And I think a good way to describe this Auburn team right now is they're scrappy. It's not always pretty, but they get the job done. And they're the new belle at the ball. They're the Cinderella. We've seen Cinderellas make it to this point and then not go any further. Think about Loyola Chicago last year. So Auburn knows they have plenty of doubters out there. They're not listening to them, though. They want to make history.
And plus, we're still Auburn. Auburn has historically not been a good basketball program. And that's okay. They're going to doubt us for history, but we're changing history as we speak. We're not supposed to be here. Everyone's not supposed to be here, but we're here now.
So going on behind us, if you've been wondering what all of those noises are, they are rehearsing introductions for tomorrow's Final Four. So, hey, it's got my blood pumping.
Yeah.
I'm ready for tip-off already.
We already know what it's going to be like 24 hours from now. It's going to be very loud inside U.S. Bank Stadium. Let's go back to Birmingham with Chris Brees.
Yeah, you guys said that you were wondering when the party was going to end. I don't know how many Auburn fans really believed a moment like this would have happened over the weekend, getting to go to Toomer's Corner as if they won a national championship in football. This was the scene after the victory over Kentucky in the Elite Eight, and I'm serious. Auburn may just run out of toilet paper if they win the national championship this weekend. And our team coverage continues down there with Sherry Jackson. Sherry, do you realize behind you how crazy it might get out there if things go well on Saturday night?
Oh, absolutely. You think about a sea of trees and white out here, they're just chomping at the bit. They're remnants of that tissue on the ground right now. Auburn fans certainly excited and used to celebrating their football W's. But this thing with basketball and this Final Four appearance, well, this is something new for the Tigers and their fans, and they are very, very pumped about it, Chris. And in fact, if we wanted to just take a ride about 19 minutes from here, there is a place where people need that joy and thrill of what's happening with this community and this team right now. It's in Lee County, where that community was devastated by those horrific tornadoes. The Auburn Tigers went there. Coach Bruce Pearl still talking about those people and the need that still exists there, even with his team on this historic ride.
After the storm, everybody's going to come running to help. It's going to take months, it's going to take years to rebuild. We'll never replace the loss of life, but my message is, let's not forget about that storm. Thanks for asking, because we need to rebuild the community, and it's going to take a lot longer and a lot more than just water and diapers.
And like he said, that rebuild will continue, win or lose for the Auburn Tigers. If people still want to give and donate, the United Way of Central Alabama makes that possible for the people of Lee County. 100% of what is donated there will go to those people in Lee County. You can find out how you can make that donation at uwca.org.
It's been a little over a month since tornadoes tore through Lee County.
Caught us off guard. We knew that some watches were in, but it hit us.
Today, cleanup continues.
It's been great with all the people and support.
It is heartbreaking work for Lee County native Kervin Robinson, who lost both of his cousins in the tornadoes.
Swept the houses away, both houses. Hit dead on. The tornado hit them dead on.
There hasn't been much to smile about these days, but sometimes a local underdog team and a passionate coach who cares about his community doesn't get lost in this mess.
I asked for volunteers, and the entire team showed up.
It was just a few short weeks ago, just before the Auburn basketball team left for March Madness, that they took time out to make sure children received a warm welcome going back to Beauregard Elementary School. It would be a tough day returning to class after experiencing the unimaginable, living through the storm that claimed 23 lives.
We're here to support the teachers. We're here to welcome the kids back and maybe put a smile on their face because they've been away from school.
Members of the Auburn basketball team were the first ones at school that day.
And our players were glad to be here.
Bringing smiles and hugs to those who needed them most. The community didn't forget that act of kindness.
Taking out time or volunteering and out the kindness of your heart, and I do feel like you are blessed from God on the other end.
And now, what it means to see their team going forward.
Just the spirit of the team, the things they're doing on the basketball court is definitely uplifting the spirits of the people here. They need it right now.
And that is exactly how special it is that Bruce Pearl is continuing to bring that awareness to what's happening for those people in Lee County. Conan Gasquet is over at Auburn Arena, where this national exposure is doing something else for the journalism students. Conan?
Well, Sherry, whenever a program makes the Final Four, it's certainly good for their basketball recruiting going forward and an opportunity to continue recruiting well and even recruiting better. But that's also true for the university as a whole, and that'll certainly be the case for Auburn University with all the exposure they're going to get this weekend. The Final Four has a huge audience. People from all across the country will be watching, and some of them may not be familiar with Auburn or even know much about it. The game can serve as an introduction in those cases, and that can attract more interest from prospective students, faculty, and staff. I spoke with a school leader who says this is just about the best case scenario for marketing for the school.
A wonderful way to showcase the energy, the excitement of the university and the support of the university and just the sheer talent of students. And so it really brings nice national exposure to us.
And they say they're also utilizing social media leading up to the Final Four, not only to generate more exposure for basketball, but for various other things they have going on around campus so they can cash in on this exposure on all different fronts. All right, we've got much more coming up straight ahead. We're going to talk about an injured player who is having an impact for this team, even though he's not going to be able to make the court. He didn't play in Auburn's Elite Eight win. There's no denying he was a spark for the Tigers, how teammates are rallying around the injured Chuma Okeke. You're watching Auburn's Road to the Final Four show.
A hand-breaded filet with the hot taste of Nashville. Introducing the new Zaxby's Hot Filet Sandwich. For a limited time, only at Zaxby's. And don't miss Shazam!
Shazam!
Rated PG-13. Experience it in IMAX.
What's the secret of Clyde Mays whiskey? Maybe it's the high-quality ingredients and notes of dried apple that give it its smooth Alabama-style flavor. Or maybe it's not something, but someone, a family man, who did things the right way, whether he was caring for his kin or crafting his whiskey. So, perhaps the secret in every sip of Clyde Mays whiskey is Clyde May himself.
Sherry Jackson and Jack Royer, weeknights at 5, 6, and 10.
At Physicians Mutual, we know that planning for retirement can feel scary.
Heard you're retiring soon. My husband just retired. Figuring out how to stay covered was a real doozy.
Hey, look, Leonard's premiums are showing.
He doesn't even have a Medigap.
We're gonna say Jamal.
Anyways, we found Physicians Mutual. They made it really easy.
I'll give him a call.
Retire with confidence. We'll listen and find you the coverage you need.
Physicians Mutual, Physicians Mutual.
Save the tax this April at Beds Express. All month, we'll give you a discount equal to the sales tax on your purchase. This Sealy Memory Foam Queen mattress with free adjustable base is only $9.99, and you'll save the tax. Save $200, $300, up to $400 on select Beauty Rest and Sealy Queen mattress sets, and save the tax. Mattress shopping is easy at Beds Express with our 1-year price guarantee, 2-year extended warranty, and 3-year comfort guarantee. Save the tax all April long at Beds Express. We make it easy.
For 5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
Introducing the all-new Chevy Silverado. It's the official truck of calloused hands. The official truck of getting to work and getting to work. It's the official truck of homecoming and coming home. The all-new Chevy Silverado.
Chevy Truck Month continues with 0% financing for 72 months on this all-new Silverado. Or this deal gets stronger. Current competitive owners get a total value of over $9,500 when financing with GM Financial.
A hand-breaded filet with sweet honey butter and smoky bacon. Introducing the new honey butter and bacon filet sandwich for a limited time, only at Zaxby's. And don't miss Shazam! Shazam! Rated PG-13. Experience it in IMAX.
You're watching Auburn's Road to the Final Four preview.
SEC basketball fans remember this guy pretty well. Buck Johnson was part of Alabama's glory years with Wimp Sanderson. He later went on to have a very long and good NBA career, but now some family conflict. His son Jamal plays at Auburn after transferring from Memphis last spring. And hey, we have Buck Johnson now on the show with us. Thanks so much for being with us. Fans beware, you're calling Auburn we now.
Yes, you know, my son, like you said, is transferred to Auburn, and so we're very, very excited about Jamal's opportunity to play there at Auburn next year. So, yes, it's we now.
No one really knows this Auburn team as well as Buck does, and one of the fascinating things that we're seeing is how different both these teams are. Not only scoring, on defense, too.
Yeah, it should make for a very interesting chess match for both teams. Two teams with contrasting styles. You know, Auburn, as we know, wants to push the ball up and get out into the open floor. They want to speed you up, turn you over, get out in transition and shoot the 3 ball. Virginia, on the other hand, they want to play slow. They want to play in the half court, both offensively and defensively. So I think it's going to be a very interesting game.
Funny you say that, because the moniker on this team has been we have to make threes to win games, and that's been true most of the time, but that Kentucky game was not really the case. If that's so, does Auburn need to shoot lights out to win this game against Virginia?
I think they need to figure out a way to speed Virginia up and get out and get some of those open threes that they've used to playing, you know, this year. And so I think that, you know, if we do get out and get a lead early, then it's going to be tough for Virginia to catch up with us.
Now, Virginia has not been a juggernaut when it comes to pressure in the NCAA tournament. You're talking 5 years as a number 1 or number 2 seed. 4 times they did not make it past the Sweet 16, and they're only Elite 8. They lost to a 10 seed in Syracuse. When you think about Auburn and the pressure they have in this game, are they feeling it? Because they've been so unstoppable. Are they really feeling nervous, do you think?
And I don't think so, because they're the underdog again. They're, you know, like every game so far this NCAA tournament. They've been the underdog, and so I think Bruce Pearl and his team thrives off of that, and they're going to go out and get those shots that they're used to getting. They're going to get in transition. They're going to find a way to speed Virginia up and play the game that they're used to playing.
Now, when folks look at this 12-game win streak, they think, well, something happened to this team. they clicked automatically. It's more simple than that, though, isn't it?
Well, I think defensively is what happened. When they bought in defensively, the whole team bought in on the defensive side, it just makes the game so much easier offensively, because now when you turn guys over, turn teams over, you can get out in transition, and that's where guys like to play. Like to play a wide open style. They like to play in transition, and that's what Auburn does the best.
We showed it to you. The Kentucky loss was really bad back in February. Has it been a confidence thing? Is it that simple?
Well, I think so. I think, it was at home. It was at Rupp Arena when Auburn played Kentucky that last game. But since then, with that motivation from losing that game, man, it just took over from that point on. And, man, they've been on a roll ever since.
They feel like they have nothing to lose. Buck will be back with us a little bit later on in the show, so Buck, sit tight. And we'll see you in a little bit. One of the biggest and greatest storylines that Auburn has had all week long has really been the injury of one of their great players who has really emerged the last month. And people had no idea how they beat Kentucky without him. Simone Eli back with us live in Minneapolis for more on that.
Yeah, Brees, you're absolutely right. Everyone counted Auburn out against Kentucky, especially with Chuma Okeke on the sideline. But it was just that, Chuma Okeke on the sideline, that got Auburn that win over Kentucky. It didn't come in points, it didn't come in rebounds, but his presence cheering on his teammates. Auburn trailed Kentucky 35-30 at halftime of its Elite Eight matchup. That's when Tigers head coach Bruce Pearl told his team some inspiring news.
Before the game, he texted us and said that he was in a lot of pain, so he probably wouldn't be able to make the game. And at halftime, coach told us that he was going to come in, and then that was just big for us. Injured sophomore star Chuma Okeke wanted to support his guys in person.
He decided he was going to come in the second half. It was his own call. He wanted to be here with his teammates, and you could see how much his teammates love him. After tearing his ACL against North Carolina, Okeke's presence at the Sprint Center Sunday was more important than anything he could have contributed on the court.
We did it for Chuma, man. Everything we did was for Chuma today, man. Everything we did from here on out is for Chuma, bro. A man down, you feel me? That's all we want to do is show him how we are. We want to play for him. Just know all that he's going through right now, and just be able to battle that, just to be here for his teammates is a very unselfish person. The Tigers have dedicated the remainder of the year to their injured brother and plan to do it for Chuma.
He was there with us, he was present with us, and that brought our belief up even more. But we knew we had to do this for him, and we couldn't lose this game because we know he is out here to give it his all, so that's what we try to do tonight.
So a lot of inspiration from Chuma Okeke to his teammates. Now, he had successful ACL surgery down with Dr. Andrews Pensacola. I'm told that he will not be here in Minneapolis for the Final Four, but you better believe he'll be cheering on his Auburn Tigers. Still ahead on our road to the Final Four Auburn special, we sat down with former Auburn head coach, the legend, Sonny Smith, to talk about this Tigers run. Stay right here. We'll have more just ahead.
What makes Wedemark Keith different? We have hometown values with big city experience. Call us and let us go to work for you.
Call Wedemark Keith because your case matters. WKFirm.com.
Portions of I-5920 by the BJCC are now closed, and construction crews have been demolishing the Central Business District bridges. This section of 5920 through downtown Birmingham will remain closed for all of 2019. The Alabama Department of Transportation says drivers should visit 5920bridge.com/closures for daily information on surface street closures. You can also find up-to-the-minute traffic information on the Algo Traffic app and the CBS 42 News app.
The CBS 42 Storm Team. Local weather coverage you can...
An eternity and the blink of an eye aren't that far apart. Time is a relative thing. Hours to wait or seconds to act. Timing is everything.
All for a better life.
And then, time is the only thing that makes life really worth living.
Get a term life quote or find a local agent today at alphainsurance.com.
Ford is built for spring. So if you want low financing and big cash back on the SUVs, #1 in brand loyalty, get a Ford. If you want to save more on the brand with more SUVs on the road today, get a Ford. If you want the best deal of the season, get a Ford during the Ford Spring Sales Event. Now, get 0 for 60 plus $1,000 on select 2019 SUVs or $5,000 total cash on select 2019 Expeditions at your local Ford dealer.
In 1986, my life changed forever when I struck 3 buried high-voltage cables while working on an excavation site. 30,000 volts of electricity blew through my body. I'm lucky to be alive and able to walk again. Today, accidents like mine can be avoided with a simple call to 811 in order to have your dig site marked.
Always call 811 before digging and be a hero. Respect the flags. Brought to you by Alabama 811.
S's & Sons has just announced a special April sale on Mohawk Frisé carpet. 16 colors to choose from, marked down from $2.99 per foot to $1.99. You'll love this carpet, and you'll love the service you get from S's & Sons, Pelham, Greystone, and Vestavia.
It hasn't always been easy, has it? But you had the courage to venture into something powerful. Education. Never stop growing.
My passion was my job until I got injured at work.
At Wedemark Keith, our passion is justice. In your case, matters to us.
Call Wedemark Keith, WKFirm.com.
You're watching Auburn's Road to the Final Four preview.
They're doing something special, and just how fired up they have the whole Auburn family in this school, and you know, this whole school's on cloud 9 with what they're doing and the way they're doing it.
Gus Malzahn knows that usually this time of year they're normally talking football here on the Plains, but with what Auburn is doing, there's a lot of people thinking whether this is a basketball school or a football school. We've been asking some of the people, which is it? Because normally for Auburn, it is spring football, but this year, this historic run in the NCAA tournament, basketball is on the minds, and it has some of the fans thinking, is it basketball, is it football? Maybe it's both.
Is this a basketball school or a football school now?
I don't know. It's looking like it's a basketball school now.
I would say it's a basketball school. I was debating selling my football jersey, not gonna lie. Oh, wow. For a basketball jersey. Hey, I mean, this could be fighting words.
Honestly, I would say both. Everybody's so excited about basketball just because it's new. This is something that's never been done before.
Well, judging on the last couple of years of football, basketball school now. A lot of people will not like that answer because the football team's not been doing so well the last few years. I mean, honestly, they've just not been doing up to what Auburn fans expect.
No matter what your opinion is, when it comes to Auburn basketball, there's one man who put it on the map here for the Tigers. A great CBS 42's Conan Gascoigne sat down with him to talk about this historic bid for the Tigers. Conan?
Yes, here I caught up with Sonny Smith this week. He led some of those great Tigers teams back in the 80s, and back then he really thought he had turned a corner with this program. Didn't work out that way in the long run, but now the Tigers are in the spotlight again, and this time he says they're here to stay.
I think that's the most important thing.
When it comes to Auburn basketball, Coach Sonny Smith is one of the greats. He coached some of the school's best players and arguably its best team.
It's almost like a perfect coaching job to have, because they took care of themselves.
That's his Elite Eight team he's talking about. In 1986, they changed the perception of Auburn basketball.
We were known as the school that you didn't want to go to for basketball, yet we were able to step out and win the SEC tournament and get on rolls that nobody thought we would ever do.
It was supposed to be a turning point, one that would lead to more success going forward.
I thought, well, we've turned this into not a basketball school, but a representative of basketball, and it stayed that way for a while, but after I left, they kind of went on another downer.
It took more than 30 years for Auburn to win another SEC tournament. This year's squad did it in similar fashion to Smith's team.
We advanced, and with confidence, they do too. I don't think they're afraid of anybody they played so far.
But much has changed at Auburn since Smith left, and they're better positioned now to maintain success.
We've got the arena, this field. We've got the university with an international reputation. We've got everything. The town has grown.
And whether or not they win the national title this year, he sees more winning basketball in Auburn's future. And he says he's happy to see this year's team break the record of his 1985-86 team for deepest run for Auburn in an NCAA tournament, because he thinks that maybe this will finally put Auburn on the map as more of a basketball school than what they've been in the past. Sherry, back to you.
Well, Conan, one thing that is pretty consistent in these last few weeks with Auburn basketball is that there is a shortage potentially on tissue. These trees here have been filled with toilet paper, and we don't know whether or not if they win the national championship there will be any toilet paper in this town. Crews were out at Toomer's Corner this week cleaning up from last weekend's celebration. And for students who are getting ready for Saturday, maybe even Monday night, TP has officially become a hot commodity here.
And they were selling it. I mean, it was going like crazy, and I'm thinking, no, no, no. So it's best to have it before you go, and that way you don't have to pay for it once you get there, which is going to cost you double.
The Goalpost grocery store is fully restocked for those who are preparing to launch their two-ply this weekend. Stick around. Coming up next, it is back to the X's and O's. We're breaking down the matchup between Auburn and Virginia. You're watching Auburn's road to the Final Four.
Opening a restaurant was my dream. I started out here at the market. It was amazing to see all the values that make our community so great on full display, like hard work and commitment. Those values are especially important in running my own business. But sometimes I need partners too. And I'm thankful for the people in our community like Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Alabama who support local businesses. They help me take care of the people who help keep my dream alive.
Fact is, every insurance company hopes you drive safely. But Allstate actually helps you drive safely with DriveWise. It lets you know when you go too fast and brake too hard. With feedback to help you drive safer, giving you the power to actually lower your cost. Unfortunately, you can't do anything about that. Now that you know the truth, are you in good hands?
The CBS 42 News, weeknights at 5, 6, and 10.
Are you ready for retirement? Watch Retire with Freedom this Saturday at noon on CBS 42. Learn financial strategies to grow your personal wealth and generate lifetime income. Retire with Freedom this Saturday at noon.
Need a morning victory? Get a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit, bacon, egg, and cheese McGriddles, sausage McMuffin with egg, or the new chicken McGriddles. Any two for just $4. Hot and tasty, fast and easy. That's breakfast at McDonald's.
For 5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
You're watching Auburn's Road to the Final Four preview.
This is in complete shock right now.
Well, you know the old adage, there's a first time for everything. That was last year at the NCAA tournament. Virginia, the first #1 seed to ever lose to a 16 seed. And you can bet this team still thinks about that to this day. It's not a bad thing, though. They use it as fuel, and it might be a big reason why they're still playing.
Our story is, in a way, it is unique. And so to see the resiliency and the resolve and all that's gone into this program, the foundation that's been laid, and, it's what you always hope for.
You got to be confident no matter where you're playing at. And it's just about focusing on the things in the game you can control. And just when you shoot, you just stay confident about it.
Now bringing back in Buck Johnson, former Alabama player in the 80s. His son Jamal's on the team at Auburn. We're hearing so much about this playing in space and these Auburn guys shooting 35, 40 threes per game. Is this overblown? Are they seeing, is space a big deal when it's bigger or smaller?
Well, I think it can be a factor. But since Auburn left on Wednesday, they've had 3 days now to practice in that gym. And so I think they're going to be over that. It can be a factor if you're not used to that, if you hadn't played or practiced in the gym before you play. And so, since they've been there since Wednesday, I don't think it's going to be a factor at all.
There's also the fact that Bridgestone Arena in Nashville was a bigger one. It's a hockey arena. It's not as big as what they're going to see in Minneapolis, but it is very similar. When you're looking at both of these teams, and Auburn, they've been so good at not turning the ball over in the tournament. Only 7.5 turnovers per game. Why is that a big deal this weekend?
Well, that's what Virginia does. They don't turn the ball over as well, and so Auburn's going to have to limit their turnovers, continue to limit their turnovers, and they're going to have to make sure that they limit the rebounding for Virginia. They have a big, huge front line, got guys coming off the bench that's 7'1", got guys 6'10", and so I think by limiting them to one shot and then and not turning the ball over, we have a great chance of winning.
The size on the other team has always been something people want to point at for Auburn having struggles. You mentioned 7'1", but they've been having that issue all year long. Why have they been so good at combating a team that maybe has guys who are 5 inches taller than they are?
Because on the other side, you have to guard them on the perimeter. So our 5 guy, he stands out on the perimeter, he sets picks, he pops. And so most 5 guys are not used to going out and guarding perimeter guys. And so for Auburn, being able to have all 5 guys to play on the perimeter has been an advantage for them all year.
So before we let you go, Buck Johnson, Auburn wins this game, complete the sentence, if they do what?
If they limit Virginia to one shot and they get up and play fast and play their game, play their style of basketball, play fast, get out in transition, and then shoot threes.
Puts a whole lot of pressure on them, but they've won 12 games in a row for a reason. Buck Johnson, thanks so much for your insight this week. Hope to talk to you soon.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Thanks.
Well, so Auburn, of course, in this game against Virginia, a lot has to go right their way. We heard from Buck on the Auburn side. We want to get a Virginia take on things. Wrinkle back out there live in Minneapolis for that.
Yeah, I found our friend Jermaine Farrell from our sister station over in Roanoke, Virginia. So, Jermaine, here we are, Final Four, Virginia and Auburn. I don't know if you know this stat, but 17 of the last 20 teams that won the national championship had blue in their jersey. You're wearing blue, I'm wearing blue. Do you think we get the national championship out of this one?
I tell you, it looks pretty good. I mean, we got an orange and blue combination. It's pretty neat. I'll tell you one thing that was kind of funny. I talked to Braxton Key in the locker room, and I just asked him about, particularly, he's got the experience of playing in Auburn, that Iron Bowl rivalry. And I even asked him, I said, hey, look, would any Alabama fans cheer for Auburn? They say no. So that's not a big surprise, but this is fun. I mean, you got 2 teams. I mean, you look at Auburn, the way they shoot the ball, the way they went through the Blue Bloods in Kansas, Kentucky, and North Carolina, going up against a Virginia team that's pretty strong on defense. So it's going to be a pretty strong matchup.
When you look at these 2 teams, polar opposites the way that they play. Auburn likes to shoot the 3 ball. Virginia just very technically sound, great defense. Auburn turns it or gets turnovers. Virginia doesn't. Something's got to give here. It's the rock against the immovable object. What do you think gives?
I will say this. I mean, if you can shoot the ball well, you're going to have a chance. And that's the neat thing with Auburn. They shoot the ball so well. But eventually, you don't want to have that bad shooting game. And what's going to be unique when you look at this arena and this facility, I mean, everybody's playing in this for the first time. So you got to get adjusted to it, and that's why the teams, what they did today, they got a chance to adjust shooting the facility. But defense travels, and Virginia's defense is one of the best. I mean, pace of play, they're tops in the country, and they're holding teams are in the mid-50s. So here's the thing, if the game is, say, in the 50s or 60s, UVA is going to probably win it. You start creeping up to the 70s or 80s, I mean, then you're looking at the Auburn zone. You know, War Eagle will have a shot at this bad boy.
Now, something interesting when I was looking up the stats on this, you think Virginia is such a good team. They blow a lot of teams out. They win dominantly. Right. They do not shoot a lot of threes. They don't score in bunches like a lot of other teams. If Auburn gets up early, do you have confidence in the Cavaliers to be able to come back?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, when you look at that, you know, if they fall behind, that's going to be a key because their pace of play, you know, to equate it to football. I mean, they're all about possession, all about, you know, ball control. You know, they're very efficient. When they score, it's efficient. So you limit the possessions. So that's the thing. If it gets out of hand, then UVA might have to change your philosophy as far as trying to score more points. I mean, Virginia can score, but, you know, the way their pace of play is, Chris, I mean, they don't have to really go that route. So it's all about keeping the possessions down. And, again, you mentioned turnovers. Virginia, they do not turn over the ball. Average about 9 turnovers a game. So that's the key. That's where Auburn's so successful. They get the turnover. And it'll be interesting to see what Sir Charles feels about this game. And also, obviously, when you talk about famous alumni, I mean, you got all that going on there.
Jermaine, thanks so much. We'll be right back on our road to the Final Four for the Auburn Tigers. One of our two teams is going to win this one, but there will be blue and orange in the national championship game. We'll be right back.
I love an ice cream sandwich on a Sonic night.
The official beginning of cargo short season.
Guess how many ice cream sandwiches I can fit in my cards?
3?
7?
No way.
You say 3? Don't insult my cards, bro.
Hurry in for Sonic Nights. New $1.49 ice cream cookie sandwiches and half-price shakes after 8.
If you're involved in an auto accident that's not your fault, Wettermark Keith will fight to get you justice and the compensation you deserve. Big settlements and big results. Your case matters to us.
Call Wettermark Keith, WKFirm.com.
I'm JJ Hightail. As an ex-professional race car driver, I'm used to taking a few risks, which isn't always a good thing.
Proof of insurance, please.
That's why I'm insured by Direct Auto and Life Insurance. Get a super low down payment for as low as $29 down.
Sherry Jackson and Jack Royer, weeknights at 5, 6, and 10.
It's the late hours, the side gigs, saving, sacrifices. Now it's your reward, your escape,
all for a better life.
Your passion. Whatever it is, protect it.
Protect your major appliances and more with Home Systems Protection from Alpha.
Everybody's looking forward to something. Maybe it's getting your first job, or getting married, or sending the kids to college, or retiring. Whatever it is, it helps to have a plan. And America's First Financial Advisors can make a plan just for you. Get in touch or stop by today, and let's make a plan for your future.
What's the secret of Clyde Mays whiskey? Maybe it's the high-quality ingredients and notes of dried apple that give it its smooth Alabama-style flavor. Or maybe it's not something, but someone, a family man, who did things the right way, whether he was caring for his kin or crafting his whiskey. So, perhaps the secret in every sip of Clyde Mays whiskey is Clyde May himself.
Visit the Ford display at the Alabama Auto Show. Check out our full lineup, including the Ford Edge ST, the first SUV from the Ford Performance Team. And take on the Baja 1000 in our Ford Raptor Simulator, a fully hydraulic motion ride. See you there.
At Wettermark Keith, we've been fighting for those injured by distracted drivers for a long time. The road belongs to everyone. If you've been harmed by a distracted driver, let us go to work for you.
Call Wettermark Keith because your case matters. WKFirm.com.
Sonic's new BBLTs are great.
Yeah, the BB stands for bacon.
And the LT stands for look at those tomatoes.
Well,
Sonic's new $3.99 BBLT in tots. Hurry, bacon goes fast. And try order ahead to get happy hour anytime.
You're watching Auburn's Road to the Final Four preview.
Well, we know one thing for sure up in Minneapolis. Auburn feels very fortunate because most players never even sniff a shot at playing in the Final Four. Luckily, we know someone who's played in multiple. Earlier today, Simone Eli caught up with a former Kentucky player and current head coach at Samford.
We're here with Samford men's basketball coach Scott Padgett. And coach, you know just a thing or two about playing in the Final Four. You've done it twice with Kentucky. Can you just give us some insight on what this atmosphere is like, what this entire journey is like?
Well, I mean, once you get here, this is different than everything. You know, the run along the way, it's nice and there's great fanfare and all that, but the energy in this building it'll be the greatest experience these guys have ever been in.
Is it hard to stay away from maybe some distractions of the hype, of the excitement? How do you have to calm yourself down a little bit?
You know what, I think one of the things, you know, I played one under Coach Pitino and one under Tubby Smith, and I think they both did a great job of telling us, you know, get things out of the way, like get the tickets behind you, you know. Once we get here, it's a business trip, and, you know, so put all that stuff behind you and focus on basketball. And they kind of kept our days pretty busy between film and practice sessions here and things like that, and trying to get you off your feet and back to the room. So they did a great job of kind of eliminating the distractions for us.
Coach, Auburn being in the Final Four, probably a little bit bittersweet for you, having beat Kentucky to get here. Of course, you're an alum. But what do you see out of this Tigers team? What did you see against the Wildcats?
Well, I was on the radio last week, and I picked Auburn to beat North Carolina. I thought the way they've played down the stretch, they're playing with a lot of confidence, and they play a style of play that at this time of year, getting buckets is big time. And they can get buckets and then get them in a hurry. And, you know, it's one of those things that I think you'll see the major style clash here with Virginia. But if they can turn them over and get some of those threes in transition and get out to where they're not always playing against a half-court set Virginia defense, they're going to have their opportunities.
Last coach, your coach, Bruce Pearl, his style, he's unapologetically himself. He gets excited on the baseline there, on the sideline. What is it about Bruce Pearl that works for this Auburn team?
Well, I just think his energy from day one, he came in and tried to basically rally the students around the program and the energy of the program around these kids. And he's that all the time. That's who he is 24/7. And, you know, I think when you see that out of your coach, I think a lot of people as a player, you feed off your coach. And so their team is a high energy, high impact kind of team.
All right, Coach Scott Padgett from Samford, thank you so much. We appreciate it. And guys, the hot topic, because Auburn advanced to the Final Four, is Bama fans, are they allowed to cheer for the Tigers in the Final Four? We'll discuss that topic just ahead on the Road to the Final Four special. Stay with us.
Crispy chicken, pit smoked ham, and luau sauce on a Sweet King's Hawaiian bun? It's like we're trying to get you to try it or something.
Arby's, we have the meats.
For sandwiches.
Just like any other family, the house, the kids, they're living the dream. Then here comes the wacky new maid.
Maid? I'm not the...
Is she an alien? Is she a spy? She's always here, someone tell us why. She's not the maid we wanted.
Because I'm not the maid.
But she's the maid we got.
Again, I'm not the maid. I protect your home and auto.
Hey, Campbell's, who's your new maid?
Chief Meteorologist Ashley Ann, weeknights on CBS 42 News at 5, 6, and 10.
It hasn't always been easy, has it? There have been days when you doubted yourself, and days when you were ready to quit, but you didn't. Because you had the courage to venture into something powerful. Education. If I leave you with just 3 words of advice, never stop growing.
It's anti-evolution, not to win. Fight
Are you ready for retirement? Watch Retire with Freedom this Saturday at noon on CBS 42. Learn financial strategies to grow your personal wealth and generate lifetime income. Retire with Freedom this Saturday at noon.
Esses & Sons has just announced a special April sale on Mohawk Frisé carpet. 16 colors to choose from, marked down from $2.99 per foot to $1.99. You'll love this carpet, and you'll love the service you get from Esses & Sons, Pelham, Greystone, and Vestavia.
At Physicians Mutual, we know that planning for retirement can feel scary.
I can't believe you'll be 65 tomorrow.
Medicare Part A. Part B. Part D. Why are there so many choices? Daily premium. I don't even know what those are.
Don't worry, we're getting Physicians Mutual.
Right. Retire with confidence. We'll listen and find you the coverage you need.
Physicians Mutual, Physicians Mutual.
Sweet, fluffy King's Hawaiian buns pair well with almost every meat Arby's serves. To prove it, we made the Big Kahuna with almost every meat Arby's serves.
Arby's, we have the meats.
For sandwiches.
You're watching Auburn's Road to the Final Four preview.
And welcome back to our CBS 42 Sports Special, Road to the Final Four. Here's something for Alabama fans, a Roll Eagle shirt, because as the shirt says, state pride before Roll Tide. All right, that was an April Fool's joke posted on Twitter Monday, but it does beg the question. In all seriousness, can Alabama fans root for Auburn right now with this historic win and what it means for the state? We sent CBS 42's Tim Reed to the streets of Tuscaloosa to find out if this is possible.
The Auburn Tigers men's basketball team has done the unthinkable and danced all the way to the Final Four to play Virginia on Saturday. In Tuscaloosa on the Strip, most fans cannot allow themselves to pull for their SEC in-state rival.
When you're winning, the round of 32 or the round of 16 in the March Madness, and you're storming, Toomer's Corner and all that stuff, I know it's a tradition, but I'm seeing all this social media stuff from all my friends, and it kind of just irks me a little bit, so I want to see it end, so I'm going to root against them. JoJo Meineke and other students feel it's too early to roll the trees in Toomer's Corner.
I have a lot of great friends that go to Auburn, but I don't know if I would say I want to root for them because they're throwing trash in all the trees. All that toilet paper, I'm like, one, where are you getting that? How wasteful. How wasteful is that? Who's cleaning all that toilet paper up?
Not everyone in Tuscaloosa is hating on Auburn. Molly Mazer is a proud Crimson Tide fan, but she's cheering for the Tigers.
I'm rooting for Auburn. I think it's great they're in the Final Four. It's not football we're competing against. It's basketball. And, those are our brothers and sisters of Alabama, and it's just great for the state.
So will Auburn beat Virginia and advance to the championship? We'll just have to wait and see. In Tuscaloosa, I'm Tim Reed. Sherry, back to you.
All right, Tim, the students here at Auburn are cheering for their Tigers this weekend. Win or lose, there is something special about what's happening for the players, for the fans, especially for the broadcast students. Conan?
Yeah, it's a big deal for Auburn to be in the Final Four for every student here, just from a fan perspective. But for some, it's also a professional opportunity. That's the case for the students who are a part of WEGL, or Wiggle as they call it. That's the campus radio station. They have a daily sports talk show. But throughout the tournament, they've done special tournament shows, welcome big-name guests. And some of the students are even getting to cover the Final Four. It's an opportunity that's very unique for college students.
They're getting a chance to sit in the actual media areas of the stadiums, covering the games like any real reporter would. They're getting to live tweet, they're getting media passes, they can go to the practices, and it's really great experience.
And it's a great opportunity to do some networking as well with some people they might need to know for their future career. Now let's toss it back to Chris Brees.
And if Auburn does win on Saturday, they would play either Texas Tech or Michigan State in the championship game. Both would be favored over Auburn, no surprise. But if we're going to be honest, the one that no one wants to see is Michigan State. They're talented. They have 7 upperclassmen. And Tom Izzo has a knack in the Final Four, 8 of them total. And then there's Cassius Winston, 20 points, 10 assists in the win over Duke the other night. He is as clutch as it gets.
and then we're just not the better team. And you know, all years has always been a reason why we couldn't do something, and we take that as just a reason to prove why we can. And I'm pretty sure even here, it's probably they're going to die out. They don't have a chance, and we're going to do our best to prove people wrong.
Winston's task is the toughest defense in the tournament. Chris Beard's Texas Tech Red Raiders gave up just 58 points to Buffalo, 44 to Michigan, and 69 to Gonzaga during their Final Four run. Combine that with likely top 5 NBA lottery pick Jarrett Culver, and you've got a championship-winning recipe right there.
It speaks volume about our defense. It shows how hard we play, how good we can be on defense. So, I'm sure I'm like all the other players. They wasn't always big defensive players, but once they came in Tech, it's just our culture now.
One thing is for sure, this man, Charles Barkley, will be rooting on his Auburn Tigers very hard this weekend. We have final thoughts, and maybe I'm going to eat some crow coming up, and maybe Simone and Wrinkle will brag about it. I'm pretty sure. It's coming up next.
If a distracted driver takes their eyes away from the road for just 5 seconds, they can travel the length of an entire football field. If you've been harmed by a distracted driver, let us go to work for you.
Call Wettermark Keith, WKFirm.com.
Shazam!
How old are you? Basically 15.
Shazam, rated PG-13. After the movie, try the new Zaxville Hot and Honey Butter and Bacon Filet sandwiches, only at Zaxby's.
Hey, who are you?
Oh, hey, Jeff, I'm a car thief. What? I'm here to steal your car because, well, that's my job.
What?
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 What? It happens.
And if you got cut rate car insurance, paying for this could feel like getting robbed twice. So get Allstate. And be better protected from mayhem. Like me.
Ford is built for spring. So if you want low financing and big cash back on the SUVs, #1 in brand loyalty, get a Ford. If you want to save more on the brand with more SUVs on the road today, get a Ford. If you want the best deal of the season, get a Ford during the Ford Spring Sales Event. Now, get 0 for 60 plus $1,000 on select 2019 SUVs or $5,000 total cash on select 2019 Expeditions at your local Ford dealer.
Save the tax this April at Beds Express. All month we'll give you a discount equal to the sales tax on your purchase. This Sealy memory foam queen mattress with free adjustable base is only $9.99, and you'll save the tax. Save $200, $300, up to $400 on select Beauty Rest and Sealy queen mattress sets, and save the tax. Mattress shopping is easy at Beds Express with our 1-year price guarantee, 2-year extended warranty, and 3-year comfort guarantee. Save the tax all April long at Beds Express. We make it easy.
Join CBS 42 for Glow on the Green, April 12th at Highland Park Golf Course. Play 9 holes in the afternoon and 9 after the sun goes down. Think you can do it? Help Big Brothers Big Sisters of Greater Birmingham with a night of fun on the links. Glow on the Green. Go to CBS42.com for details.
Sherry Jackson, Jack Royer. Together, they lead a committed team of journalists to bring you local coverage you want.
Some cars could get stuck.
Local coverage you need. CBS 42 News at 10. Local coverage you can count on.
A hand-breaded filet with the hot taste of Nashville. Introducing the new Zaxville Hot Filet Sandwich. For a limited time, only at Zaxby's. And don't miss Shazam!
Shazam!
Rated PG-13. Experience it in IMAX.
After an accident, you need Wettermark Keith. Trucking companies can bully you into a low settlement. Wettermark Keith is well versed in laws governing the trucking business and has the experience to win your case.
Call Wettermark Keith, WKFirm.com.
You're watching Auburn's Road to the Final Four preview.
Because there wasn't anyone crazily strong here, but this is the one that matters right here. We have Auburn, okay? I liked Auburn, and I continue to like Auburn.
I also have Auburn. I think Auburn, they're playing so well right now. They got great team defense. They're shooting very well. I think that region's going to eat itself alive.
Ain't that something right there?
It's almost
high five. That's what I'm talking about right there.
Almost like we knew something or something.
Guys, I have a question.
That's what we know. We know basketball. That's what it is.
All right, Brees has a question. Let's let him answer.
I can admit when I'm wrong, and I have no pride. Who actually put Auburn down on the bracket? Neither of you. Explain yourselves. What?
Okay, that's true.
Fair enough.
That's not fair. That's not fair right there. Definitely calling us out. But listen, I was really hot on Auburn when I said that. I meant that. Did I put that on my paper? I did not put that on the paper.
You know what? I thought they had a chance to go to the Final Four. I wasn't sure if they were actually going to do it. But, hey, here they are. Another doubter proven wrong.
Yep.
You didn't get the points in your bracket. That's all that matters. Hey, thanks for joining us across the state of Alabama, Mobile, and Dothan, and Birmingham. Tip-off will be tomorrow just after 5 o'clock on CBS.